So I got asked about how I track my calories and my macros. So I'm going to go through that today. I'm going to show you exactly how to calculate your calories, your macros, using me as an example. I'm also going to explain where the numbers actually come from, so you understand the science behind it, so you know it's just not some random figures that you found off the internet. Now, the first thing you need to know is your maintenance calories. That's basically how many calories your body burns every day to maintain your current weight. So for me, for example, I'm 5'9", 39 years old, and I weigh about 83 kgs at the moment. So the easiest way to estimate maintenance calories is by multiplying your body weight in pounds by a certain number, which is based on how active you are every day. So a simple breakdown, if you're pretty secondary or only train like once or twice a week, you would multiply it by 13. If you train moderately, so around 3 to 4 days a week, you go to multiply it by 14 or 15. If you're training hard, like so you're doing like 5, 6, 7 days a week and carrying good muscle mass, you're probably closer to the 16 to 17 times your body weight. So I train 5 to 6 days, so I'll probably multiply it by 15 as a multiplier. So I weigh about 183 pounds at the moment. So 183 pounds multiplied by 15 gives me around 2,745 calories to maintain my weight. Now, you might be wondering, where does that even come from? So the multiplier isn't random. It actually comes from the same science used in proper metabolic equations, like the Mifflin Jeor equation. Don't know if I pronounced that right. Which calculates your basal metabolic rate, or your BMR. So basically how many calories your body burns at rest just to stay alive. So anyway, for me, that's around 1,770 calories, which I multiply that by my active level, roughly 1.6, because I'm training often. It comes out to about 2,830 calories a day. And now that's almost identical to what the quick 15 times formula gave me. So the multiplier by 15 rule is just a faster, real world version of scientific formula. It's not guesswork, it's just simplified for practicality, basically. So once you've got your maintenance calories, you adjust that based on your goal. If I was cutting for a show or to lean out, I'd drop around 300 to 500 calories, eat around 2,300 to 2,400 per day. If I was trying to grow, then I'd probably go 300, 500 plus. So somewhere around the 3,000 to 3,200 calories. Small changes like that keep your training quality high and your progress consistent without crashing your metabolism. Now, let's talk about the macros. So this is where it gets a little bit more in depth. Now, once you've got your total calories, you break them down into protein, fats, and carbs. Start with your protein. That's your foundation for recovery and obviously for growing your muscle. A good target is between 1 and 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. That's for your average person. We're not talking about bodybuilders. So for me, that's around 180 to 200 grams of protein per day. Next would be fats, usually around 20 to 25% of your total calories. On 2,700 calories, that's probably about 65 to 75 grams of fat. Then the rest of your calories obviously goes to your carbs, your body's main fuel source for training, basically your energy. Now, let's work it out. Protein is 4 calories per gram, so 180 grams equals 720 calories. Fat is 9 calories per gram, so 70 grams equals 630 calories. That's about 1,350 calories. And that leaves about 1,350 for your carbs. So you divide that by 4 and you get roughly about 340 grams of carbs. So my macros at maintenance are roughly 180 grams of protein, 340 grams of carbs, and about 70 grams of fat. Okay, so now that you've got your numbers, the key is obviously tracking them. Now, you can do this on things like MyFitnessPal or Macros First, those kind of apps. But I always try and tell people, try and keep meals as simple as possible and try and keep them as often as possible. So For me, I'm very boring. I eat the same thing pretty much every day, but that way I know it's very, very easy to track. So I eat rice, chicken, beef, fish, oats in the morning, and obviously vegetables. So it's very easy to track if I want to go up or down to cut or have an off season where I want to put on some size. A few tips. So don't obsess over your daily weight. Track it weekly. If your weight's dropping too fast, add a bit more food. If it's not moving at all, lower the calories slightly. Stick to mostly whole foods. So I'd say aim for like 80% clean foods, and then 20% you can be a bit flexible to enjoy life. That kind of balances your consistency long term. And remember, macros aren't rules, they're just tools. You use them to learn how your body responds and make adjustments as you go. So that's exactly how to calculate and track your macros and your calories. Now you know the science behind why these numbers make sense. If this helped, drop me a like, hit subscribe and comment below if you want me to break down how to meal prep, macros during off season and prep, all that kind of stuff. But I appreciate you watching, and yeah, hope it helped.